Yo, pana, fum de la grasa, nigga.
Feel like the one, feeling is stuck. This ain't no whack, that's dime in the cup. Light on my shoulders, I'm getting them rough. Money don't fold up, I feel like pocking the tub. Showered in gold chains, knots on me. They got the slices, I stay with the block of cheese. Broccoli pressure, both cost me 43. Hey, I stay in my lane, don't fuck with no one. Fuck with no one. Whoa. If you mad, hold your horses, I'm still going up. You cannot stop it, just sit back and watch it. I pull up in different whips, yeah, I got options. Don't play with that sneak dissing, boy, you chatters. They see me in person, they wanna talk about it. I feel like I'm, who you feel like? I feel like I'm pocking the tub with the chains on. Whole lot of gold. They want me to turn it down, I gotta stay on. And never go out. We ain't dimming the lights, no. Going out like their bikes. 12 o'clock, everybody eating over here. Having more than one bite. Only the team get to play. Why? Only the team get to stay. Yeah. Silver spoon where they were with me. Dogs aggressive like they never ate. Savages. I was too quiet on the other side. Where they at? But I know they ain't plotting. Fuck with me, you die. No, I ain't playing. Telling me what? I don't give a fuck. They gon' talk when you down, they gon' talk when you up. I take what they say, along with the eighth. Kept me a wood, then I burn it up. Pockin' the tub, chains on me. Feel like a thug, loud of guns. All got kickback, down your son. Still score when they foul, one. Need mine and some, plus. Spray on my body, rack, plus. Some say I changed, I'm racked up. Hit for the money, fuck who next up. I stay on my 10, ain't no taking me out. Got a blunt in my hand, one in my mouth. Some say I talk cocky, but this ain't no act. Say what I want, I ain't watching my mouth. I feel like I'm pocking it up.
Yo, what's going on, y'all? What's up? Let me make sure everything is everything. What's going on, y'all? I hope everybody's having a blessed, beautiful night. My boy Orlando Finney in the building. He said, what's good, Mazuma Nation? One more week, and Ryan is going to sleep. LOL. Shout out to my boy Orlando Finney in the building, man. One of my biggest supporters on the channel for sure. He said Ryan going to sleep. I'm actually one of very few people that believe Devin Haney going to come away with the stoppage, but that's a totally different discussion. We got some things that we're going to speak about today, man. We're going to get into our boy, Subriel Matias. Now we're going to talk about Ryan Garcia and his latest antics on social media. You know what I mean? Every time Ryan Garcia says something, I'm going to point it out. You know what I mean? Because I really feel like Ryan Garcia really used that, you know, that mental health, that little fake mental health crisis in order to help build up the fight. You know what I'm saying? It seems like he's functioning pretty normal as of now. And, you know, he's pretty much straight away from the whole, you know, saving the kids perspective or, you know, approach, whatever the hell you want to call it. So we definitely going to call him out every time he do some nut shit, and we going to cook him every time he say some nut shit. So shout out to everybody that's in the building, man. Let's get the likes all the way up. I highly doubt that they sent out my, you know, my notifications. You know what I mean? So, you know, we gotta get the likes up, man. So we got 5 people in the building, man. Let's get the likes up. Let's make sure everything is everything. You know what I'm saying? Let's get the algorithm on the up. You see what I mean? Shout out to everybody that's in the building. We're about to hit that 1.84 mark, man. We got like 40 subscribers in like less than a week, man. Shout out to the nation and the mob for making that possible. Man, we got some things to discuss, man. A lot of this the first part is going to be pretty uncomfortable for me because I am a big Subriel Matias fan. You know what I mean? He's Puerto Rican, I'm Puerto Rican. And, we the we the Black Ricans, you know what I'm saying? So if you know, you know. So I identify with him a lot. You know what I mean? So there's going to be a little uncomfortable discussion, but, you know, we got to hold everybody to the same standard at the end of the day. You know what I mean? And, you know, I faced a lot of criticism in that video that I had put out earlier today, man. I had a lot of people coming at me in the comments and shit like that. So we going to address some things, man, because I could tell that they didn't really watch the video in its entirety, which is okay. You know what I mean? If you ain't got the time to watch the video, you ain't got the time. But at the same time, it's like I'm not really a fan of commenting on something if I didn't get the full context or get at least the full video of you know, whatever the hell is being spoken about. I don't really like to watch small clips. I like to watch videos in its entirety so I can get a good idea of where that person's coming from, and then I comment. But, you know, a lot of people nowadays, man, they they hear one statement or they read one statement and they jump out the window. You know what I mean? Just complete ignorance. So we definitely we gonna get into it for sure. Shout out to my boy Jordan Rules in the building. He says, "Yo, shout out Mazuma, keep that shit real, man." I try. You know what I mean? You know, some people may be feeling like, you know, I'm criticizing, like I'm defending Devin Haney or no, bro, because if Devin Haney would have said the same shit that Subriel just said in this latest interview in Mill City, then I would be right at him too. I got no problem with holding anybody accountable, but nobody is exempt from, you know, the criticism. You know what I mean? At least on my channel. You know what I'm saying? If you start acting up, I'm gonna call you out on it. If you're moving right, I'm gonna give you your props. You know what I mean? I hold everybody to the same standard. You know what I mean? So we gonna get into it in a little bit. We got 11 people in the building. Let's get the likes up. Let's get the likes up. You know what I mean? Shout out to Shay. What's good? What's good? Everything by John. Salute. What you think about Virgil Ortiz versus Boots? Who you think Virgil should face next? Well, I don't know if that fight's really relevant as of right now because Virgil Ortiz has moved up to the 154-pound division. And Boots has made it clear that, you know, especially since signing with Eddie Hearn, that he wants to become undisputed at 147 pounds. So that might not be a fight that's, you know, going to happen this year or maybe not even next year. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, in terms of that fight happening, I think Boots is the more talented fighter, in all honesty. Virgil Ortiz definitely is a dangerous fighter, though, has a lot of power, great conditioning, good combination punches, is an offensive machine. But I think Boots provides those same qualities along with, you know, with great defense, great footwork, hand speed, foot speed, you know, IQ. I just think that he's a more well-rounded fighter than Virgil Ortiz. So if I'm Virgil Ortiz, then my main objective would be to, you know, let my offense be my defense and just hopefully I run Boots into a shot. But, you know, if that doesn't work out, then I just really see Jerron Ennis punishing Virgil Ortiz. And Virgil Ortiz understands the threat that Jerron Ennis is at the end of the day because, you know, when they had asked him about that being like a fight that could happen, you know, sometime soon, he said that he wasn't really looking forward to that fight until they're all the way up there. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, Ralph, you beat me to it. Ralph beat me to it in the comments. He said they'll eventually fight, but it's going to be all the way up there. That's what Virgil Ortiz said out of his mouth, word for word. You see what I mean? So that lets you know what he thinks about Jerron Ennis, and you know, it might be something made up in his head where he feels like he's not ready for that fight as of right now. You know what I mean? Or at least Golden Boy doesn't. Maybe both. Who knows? Shout out to my boy Shay. He said, "Have you seen Paulo Osco last fight? He looked real good. Only 7 fights in there. Is also a new fighter. There is also a new fighter. His name is Imam Katiev. They're going to be the future of the 75-kilogram division." What's 75 kilos? Because we don't do that unit of measurement over here. What's 75 kilos? Let me look that up. You know what I mean? Okay. 75 kilos is 165. So I'm assuming you're talking about junior. Are you talking about super middleweight? Was that the division you're referring to? So that looks like that's a little bit heavier than middleweight. So okay. So that's okay. So you said light heavyweight. Well, why on Google I put 75 kilograms and it came out to 165.3? That's interesting. But regardless, I'm gonna keep. I don't know neither one of them guys in all honesty. You know what I mean? I might be a little out of touch with both. Well, I'm definitely out of touch with both of those fighters. But now that you mentioned it, whenever I see their names in the headlines, I'll be making sure to, you know, check in on them. I'm gonna take your word for it. But yeah, man, we got some things we need to discuss. Let's get the likes up, man. Let's get the likes up. Let's get them up there. You know what I mean? So we can get everybody attention on here. They got to know what we talking about, man. The real boxing talk. You know what I mean? The intellectual boxing talk. The great breakdowns. We about to get into it right now. You see what I mean? But shout out to Shay for keeping me informed on 2 new fighters I need to be on the lookout for, man. You know, not only do I look to, you know, teach you guys something on here, but I'm also looking to learn from y'all. So it's great that y'all putting me on some fighters that might be relevant in the future. You see what I mean? Now, this is a perfect segue into Subriel Matias, man, because I'm going to let you know how I discovered Subriel Matias and how he's been, you know, a pretty relevant fighter lately. Now, I heard about Subriel Matias from other people that was from the island. You know what I mean? Like, I think one of the first people that had told me, I believe, was my father. And he told me years before he became world champion, he was like, yo, there's this fighter coming up in the island right now, man. They call him Brownie. Now, that was Subriel's nickname on the come up. You see what I mean? Savvy says, been watching Tiger Johnson highlights. He my favorite. Yo, I think Tiger Johnson's a 147. But Tiger Johnson definitely a problem. Tiger a monster for sure. You know what I mean? I had actually spoke to him on FaceTime at one point because one of the old fighters I used to help train, Teofimo Lopez, was good friends with him at one point. They came up together in the amateurs. So shout out to Tiger Johnson. But yeah, man, let's talk about Subriel Matias, man. So I heard about Subriel Matias from my father years before he was world champion, man. Like before everybody knew who he was, before he fought Maxim Dadashev and all that. I had been hearing about him, but they referred to him as Brownie. You know what I'm saying? Because you know, he was a very dark-skinned dude, but he had like I guess like a light brown type hair. Like he had like his hair dyed up top and shit. He had like a fro hawk or whatever. And you know, I've been hearing about him ever since then. You know what I mean? They was talking about how he's an explosive puncher. He's the next thing coming up in Puerto Rico, and everybody was projecting to be the next big star coming out of Puerto Rico. Fast forward, you know, for Maxim Dadashev, that was an unfortunate situation, but that is one of the fights that, you know, began to build his boogeyman reputation. You see what I mean? So, you know, he defeated Maxim Dadashev, you know, went on to win a couple more fights against like notable names that I actually know. I don't know if they're notable amongst y'all, but I knew who Malik Hawkins was. You know what I mean? Because I seen him fight in Philly and stuff like that. He was Gervonta Davis' stablemate. You know what I mean? So I seen him get wins like that. Then he had went on to fight somebody who actually gave him his first defeat. I forgot his name. It was like Anoyan or something like that, man. My apologies for not knowing his name, but he was a European fighter. Subriel spins the block, you know, I think a year or some change later, and actually stops him. You know what I mean? So, you know, he goes on, he fights for the vacant IBF world title. The IBF super lightweight world title, defeats the man, becomes the IBF welterweight champion. And here we are. You know what I mean? Just defeated Ergashev. You know what I mean? And now he's about to fight Leon Parro in Puerto Rico. And since then, he signed with Matchroom Boxing, you know what I mean? Which is slowly but surely starting to become the hottest promotional company in the States. You know what I mean? Let's get into these comments. Who do you think has the best offense in boxing right now? Phew. That's a great question. I'm gonna say I like David Benavidez's offense. I think his offense. I love the combination punching with the hand speed. Jaime Munguia has good offense. He has good offense. I think he lacks in all the other departments, but his offense is pretty good. Shit. Let's say Jaron Ennis. Jaron Ennis is definitely one of them. Man, there's a lot of them, bro. There's a lot of them. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, there's a lot of great offensive fighters. There's a lot of them. You know, David Morrell, Will Bigelow, that's a good one too. David Morrell. You know, when I look at like great offensive fighters, I'm looking at like the way they variate their shots. You know what I mean? Mixing their power shots with their speed and shit like that. You know what I mean? And I think David Benavidez he's at the top of my list. Bam Rodriguez, he's a good. I think that his angles stand out more than anything else. You know what I'm saying? This is a good one right here. If you had the choice, would you rather have Tank type power or Wilder type power? Wilder type power. Wilder type power, because if he catch anything clean, it's going to sleep. You know what I'm saying? So definitely, I would rather have Wilder power. I think Wilder power is a lot more devastating than Tank's power. You know what I mean? Tank can knock shit out too with one punch. We've seen it happen, but Wilder, he just got more of a consistent theme with it. But the thing is, too, Tank got power in both hands. And Wilder got power in both hands too, but his bread and butter seems to be a straight right hand. You see what I mean? So I don't know. That's a good question, but I don't know. I would rather have Wilder's type power, honestly. I think Wilder right hand is the hardest punch in boxing amongst boxers right now. Bro says, I like Subriel as a fighter, but it would be crazy because he's the most feared guy 140 has. Wait, but as most feared guy at 140, but as soon as another top guy is willing to fight, he goes away from an opportunity. That's a bad look on him. I mean, yeah, we gonna get into it, man. Cause I've seen a lot of people in the comments, and we gonna address the comments too, because people be talking real spicy on here, man. They be having a lot to say. They be real loose with their words on the internet. You see what I mean? And I just know, like, I know that they just be acting tough on here, because I know in person they would never, they would choose their words more wisely, is what I'm saying. But we gonna get into it. You know what I mean? I try not to let that shit get to me or nothing like that. Silk Bando says, I seen a goofy on Twitter say Berlanga ran Benavidez and Morel out of 68. Well, that's complete ignorance. You know what I mean? That's definitely complete ignorance, bro. Edgar Berlanga has never shown an interest in fighting neither one of them dudes. You know what I mean? And I find it interesting that Edgar Berlanga thought he was going to be the mandatory for Canelo Alvarez, but he actually became the mandatory for David Morrell. You know what I mean? And ever since then, he's been real quiet, has been very hesitant to mention David Morrell's name. And I think like the first time I ever heard him speak out about anything was him talking shit about Diego Pacheco. And to keep it real, Diego Pacheco will beat the dog shit out of Edgar Berlanga. That's just my personal opinion. Now, if anybody disagree, then call for the fight to happen. Call for the fight to happen. They're with the same stable. You know what I mean? Edgar Berlanga, Diego Pacheco. That should be an easy fight to make happen. You see what I mean? If Edgar Berlanga is this fucking big star that he claims to be, he's the next Puerto Rican star, blah, 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 which I'm highly doubtful of. You know what I mean? I think there's more talented fighters coming out of Puerto Rico right now. They might not be as well known as Edgar Berlanga at this point in time, but I think that they're more talented fighters, and I think that they'll be bigger stars. For one, I seen Pacheco. I saw Pacheco respond. Of course he want that. Pacheco know that's easy money, man. That's easy money, man. Come on, man. I would want that shit too. It's easy. You know what I'm saying? You get some. You get your stock could rise to a whole new level. You get paid well, and it's not the hardest opponent at 68, bro. Why not? You know what I mean? But that's complete ignorance, Silks Bando. You know what I'm saying? People talking about he ran them out of the division. Come on, man, stop it. Edgar Berlanga is not a threat to neither one of those guys, David Morrell or David Benavidez. You feel what I mean? So they just need to knock it off. They know better, though. They just be on here talking, trying to get people outraged and shit like that. They know that's not true. But let's get into Subriel. So Subriel did an interview with Mill City Boxing. And just like I said in the video earlier, shout out to Mill City Boxing for coming out with these interviews, man. It's like he's able to interview everybody. I'm going to have to hit this dude up and be like, yo, how the fuck do you keep getting these interviews back to back like that? What's your approach, my nigga? Like, how are you able to just get connected with all these guys? Because for real, man, there's a few people he interviewed that I'm trying to bring on the channel. You know what I'm saying? But regardless, he's been doing a hell of a job, man. So shout out to Mill City for that. He did an interview with Edgar Berlanga. Edgar Berlanga. Subriel Matias. And I guess, I don't know if it was him, because I was listening to it. I had it as like background stuff. You know what I'm saying? I just had it in the background while I was doing some things at the crib. And I don't know if it was a fan or it was Mill City himself, but they had asked about, the possibility of him facing Devin Haney for possible unification. You see what I mean? And it seemed like Subriel Matias has had a change in tone, because when you had brought up Devin Haney's name previously, this was like pre-signing with Eddie Hearn. He said that he seemed pretty positive about fighting Devin Haney, that he was a chicken. He even talked shit about Bill Haney and stuff like that. So we like, like we loving Subriel's confidence. We loving the charisma. We loving the fact that he believes in himself against top opposition like these dudes. You see what I mean? So we was really feeling that. Now it just seems like there's a little switch in tone, and there's a lot of people that was in the comments that was saying how it was like a misinterpretation and he didn't really mean it like that and shit like that. But let's just get into what he said exactly. Now, he was saying that he was not interested in the fight, and he would be interested in the fight if Devin Haney sold 500K pay-per-view buys. Did you guys see that? Let me know if y'all saw it, yes or no. That man, that's exactly what that man said. You see, let me see if I can pull this up right here. Because I also seen Subriel talking about Devin Haney don't sell and he's boring and shit like that. Just trying to degrade him. Now, I don't got a problem with that because if he a op, then you could talk shit about him. You know what I mean? You don't got to get a man any credit for real. But, yeah, man. I wish I could find the fucking exact time frame that he said that, because this is an hour-long interview. I ain't about to go through this whole thing.
¿Por qué no? Mientras él la quiera, como está presumiendo, sí. ¿Por qué?
A mí, yo no sé. También él un chamaquito que tiene como 25 años, la dama, ¿verdad? Sí. Tú tienes que 31, 30.
Well, in this certain part of the interview, he said like, why not? But then at the same time, you're talking about, and I heard Subriel say this about Devin Haney in the past, where he was talking about how, Devin Haney doesn't sell, and he feels like he's more of an attraction because he's a Latino fighter. I had heard him say this before. Now, I don't know how that necessarily makes sense. He probably was just talking shit, trolling. I don't know what we're gonna chalk it up to be for real, but I don't know how you being a Latino fighter automatically makes you a bigger draw than Devin Haney. You see what I mean? Now, I understand you got Puerto Rico backing you and shit like that, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you're a huge star. You see what I mean? Because there's plenty of fighters in Puerto Rico right now that are backed by Puerto Ricans that aren't huge draws. Like Xander Zayas, he looks promising. He looked like he could be the goods. He looked like he could be the next big thing coming out of Puerto Rico, but can we necessarily call him a star right now? No, we can't. You know what I mean? It takes time. You know what I mean? Fight by fight, it takes time, and you have to have a certain part of marketability about yourself in order to get people, to get like the entire island behind you. And I don't know if Subriel just thinks that, he's automatically the star because he's become world champion or whatever the situation is. But regardless, Devin Haney is a lot more popular than Subriel at this point in time. It is what it is. I don't ever recall Subriel Matias, leading or being the main event of a pay-per-view event. This man has zero history of being a pay-per-view draw. So you can sit there and talk about how Devin Haney has 50K pay-per-view buys and shit like that. Because first of all, that was never even confirmed. You know what I mean? This was something that was put out there by somebody like Rick Glacier, stupid ass, you know what I mean, who's been found wrong on several occasions when he claims to have all these different sources. He's been proven wrong multiple times, you know what I mean? But people automatically roll with that, you know what I mean, when the Zone doesn't even publicly put out their pay-per-view numbers. So there's no way for us to know whether those numbers are valid or not. You see what I mean? So even if he was doing 50K pay-per-view buys, that's 50K more pay-per-view. That's 50K more pay-per-view buys than you've ever done. I don't know how you could talk shit about somebody doing 50K pay-per-view buys when you've never had a pay-per-view event and had to sell it on your own. You see what I mean? I don't really understand that. There's no way I could talk shit about, like, let's say I sell sneakers, right? I sell sneakers, right? I'm a sneaker plug, right? But I'm just getting into it. I don't really have much experience. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've sold, no, as a matter of fact, I sold sneakers here and there. You know what I mean? But I've never did deals with like actual stores. And here I am criticizing somebody who, got, distribution deal with like Foot Locker, Kicks USA. And meanwhile, I'm just selling sneakers to people on social media. You know what I mean? I'm doing deliveries and shit. Meanwhile, this dude is shaking hands with fucking managers and Foot Locker and shit like that, getting his sneakers into their stores. I can't talk shit about that man because we're on two totally different levels. You know, there's no way I could really sit here and be like, yeah, man, you know, I'm better than him. You know what I'm saying? I sell more sneakers than him, man. I'm more popular with the sneaker stuff than he is. And I haven't even accomplished nothing that he's accomplished at this point in time. That doesn't really make any type of sense. How can I, as a fighter, talk shit about somebody not being a pay-per-view draw? Meanwhile, they have a history of being on pay-per-view, and I don't. That makes zero sense. It was like Rolly Romero's stupid ass. Rolly Romero was talking about how like Devin Haney wasn't a star and shit like that. And, you know, pretty much saying that these guys don't bring anything to the table. And it was like, Rolly, you've been on one pay-per-view. You know what I'm saying? And you weren't the A side in this pay-per-view. So who the fuck are you to be telling people that they aren't stars when you're literally only known for being knocked out by Gervonta Davis and now Pitbull Cruz? You see what I mean? So it really don't make sense. So I didn't really like that approach from Subriel. You know what I mean? And when people typically be talking about, you know, like typically when fighters put obstacles in front of other fighters in order to get fights with them, it's kind of like you not really too optimistic about fighting a dude, aka ducking. I'm sorry, that's just how it comes across. Now, is Subriel ducking Devin Haney? No, I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt, and I'm gonna say no. You see what I mean? Because he has a fight against Leon Parro. That's first of all, and Devin Haney has a fight with Ryan Garcia next weekend. So there's no way you could duck somebody if like you have somebody else directly in front of you and the other person does as well. You see what I mean? So it doesn't. I can't call him a duck, but it is duck behavior. When you have to give motherfuckers obstacles in order to get to you, it just sounds like you not really fucking with the idea of fighting them at this point in time. I ain't gonna lie to you. That's just how it come across in my head. So Subriel went from somebody that was calling Devin Haney a chicken and calling him out to fight and shit like that to now saying you're not interested in fighting Devin Haney until he sells 500K pay-per-view buys. And what's crazy is he might very well do that with with Ryan Garcia. I think they're gonna sell more than 500K pay-per-view buys. You see what I mean? I see the numbers that they're doing on interviews and shit like that. Their interviews and face-offs, they're blowing up. I see Devin Haney like post the episodes of like his fight camps, and those videos are blowing up. The numbers don't lie. There's a lot of attention behind this fight. You see what I mean? And I'm sure that in this last week of like build up for this fight, they're gonna do some crazy shit. Ryan Garcia gonna do some crazy shit. They might push each other at the press conference. There's gonna be a lot more shit talk. You see what I mean? And I think the reason why the tickets aren't really selling how they're supposed to, in all honesty, is because the fans, from what I heard other people saying, they're not really sure that Ryan is gonna be there the night of the fight. So I'm really expecting, like, you know, tickets to be selling a lot throughout the week, but a majority of them selling out after the weigh-in. I think that'll give people a lot more reassurance when they see Ryan Garcia weigh in. You see what I mean? Because they have trouble trusting him. This man was going on all types of he was having all types of mental health episodes, and he was saying all this crazy shit, and people were like, and including myself, I was like, yo, bro, I don't even want to see this fight if Ryan Garcia is going to be in this state of mind. You know what I mean? But ever since, you know, the New York State Athletic Commission asked for that mental health evaluation, Ryan Garcia been chilling the fuck out. You see what I mean? So it seemed like things are, you know, more on the positive side, you know what I mean, than the negative. You know, I really think that he'll show up. I think he'll show up. You know what I mean? But don't be surprised if he loses to Devin that he'll blame it on, you know, his mental health and shit like that, because he needs an excuse in order to continue getting these big fights. You know, when he lost to Gervonta Davis and he quit, the reason why he was able to, you know, beat that quitting thing about him was him saying that, you know, he was drained, that he was dehydrated, he had a rib injury, all this stuff. So he was able to get past the quitting allegations. You know what I mean? So if he loses against Devin Haney, you know what I mean, or possibly get stopped or whatever, his excuse is going to be that he wasn't focused. You know, he was drinking, he was smoking, you know, and he just wasn't there mentally. That's exactly what he's going to say. You know what I'm saying? So be on the lookout for that. For sure. Everything by John says, bro, the way you talk, you're going to blow soon, bro. I appreciate that very much, man. I'm just looking for an opportunity. You see what I mean? Like, I see Pro Box TV. They got some great boxing talk on there, man. I would love to showcase my talents on those platforms. So if anybody know somebody at Pro Box TV, man, let them know that I would love to go on there and talk boxing. I see that there's reporters on there that I've never heard of that gotten their opportunity. Shit, that's all I'm asking for. Shit, let me try out. Let me do like a little trial or whatever. And if y'all rock with me, I mean, shoot me a little deal. I might work with y'all. You see what I mean? I see the zone. They got commentary. You know what I mean? It's a lot going on that I would love to be a part of. You know what I mean? I really want to. There's a lot of things I want to do in boxing besides train fighters. You know what I mean? If I'm able to do like be on my Joe Goose and shit where I train fighters, then commentate, you know what I mean? If I could be able to do that, that'd be absolutely sensational. PBC, The Zone, Pro Box TV, whatever, I'm with it. You know what I mean? So I definitely got goals, and the fact that you respect my ability to talk boxing, I appreciate it very much, man. Thank you. You see what I mean? But back to Subriel, man. I didn't really like the way that he was talking about Devin Haney, you know, just putting an obstacle in front of him, trying to give him like some type of side mission in order to get a fight with him. It's like, bro, you're like, if you and Devin Haney were to fight, you would not be the A side. I'm sorry. You would not be the A side. You know what I mean? You will be, I'm sure you'll get paid well. You know what I mean? I'm sure that you will get your respect as the IBF, you know, super lightweight champion. But in terms of, you know, getting the bigger cut and being recognized as a star, absolutely not. Absolutely not. So it's like, who are you to, you know, even talk like that? You see what I mean? Okay, he did 50K pay-per-view buys. How many have you done? Sorry, man. I rock with Subriel heavy. If he fights Devin Haney, shit, I might root for Subriel. I rock with him. I love his style. I love what he brings to the table. You know what I mean? And I want him to do big things. I want him to put on for the island. I want Puerto Rico to have a next big star. You see what I mean? But I just don't like the way that he's talking right now. And I'm sure he said something else that I wasn't really a fan of. You see what I mean? But it's not really registering right now. But it might pop up eventually. But you know, he said the 50K pay-per-view buys and he needs to do 500,000 and shit like that. There was something. What else did he say besides that? You know what I mean? Shout out to my boy Texas 16 South. You know what I mean? Shay says, Mazuma, weird question, but what happened to all the people that used to come on the channel? Who are you referring to? I don't know who you're referring to, but you know, I don't really be inviting nobody to come on here, bro. I'll be on some dolo shit. I ain't gonna lie to you. You know what I mean? Like if they come through and they want to talk, then they can, but if not, then they don't have to. You know what I mean? I started this channel on my own. You know what I mean? I got some help along the way, you know, I ain't gonna lie to you. You know what I mean? Some people help me, you know what I mean, give me great advice, you know, put me on their platforms and shit like that. But for the most part, you know, I created this channel by myself. I've been on YouTube for years, since I was 18, 19 years old, bro. And you know, I'm gonna continue rocking out by myself. You know, it's Mazuma TV. I'm Mazuma. You feel what I mean? So I gotta carry this shit on my own. Oh, you talking about Claymore? No, Claymore cool. Claymore been doing his own shit, man. He been consistent on his page, and you know, I'm sure that he got other people that he built with. You know what I mean? He be with the boy Ray and shit like that, and they doing a phenomenal job over there. You know what I'm saying? So I don't really got nothing negative to say about him. He just got his own shit going on. You feel me? So that's pretty much what it is. No lie, I'm gonna watch 300 UFC 300 over. I'm only 23 tomorrow. Wait, what? Okay. Well, if you're 23 tomorrow, then, you know, happy early birthday. I don't know if that's what you meant to say or what. I really wonder whose Boots' next opponent will be. I see he posted fight announcement soon. Well, you know, from what Eddie Hearn was saying, it seems like the fuck is his name? I'll be talking Cody Crawley. Because according to Eddie Hearn, he said that, you know, he's gonna have to defend he's gonna have to defend his IBF against his IBF welterweight title against Cody Crawley, who's the mandatory for the belt. You see what I mean? So I think that's what's going to be next on the line for him, but we're not too sure because Cody Crawley is also in the talks of doing like a WBC final eliminator. You know what I mean? So I don't know if he's going to pull out of that, pursue the Boots fight. I don't know what the situation is. I really cannot tell you. I'm pretty confused, but, you know, it's two possible opponents, and I spoke about it on one of my latest videos. It's either Cody Crawley or Conor Benn. You see what I mean? Now, me as a boxing fan, I would rather see Conor Benn. I think that that'll be a better build-up, you know, a more recognizable name. I think that he's a more relevant name in boxing right now than Cody Crowley, in my opinion. You know, shit like that. So, yeah. So it is two possible opponents, but I don't know if Conor Benn is gonna be, you know, quick to take on that Jermaine in this fight. I don't know if they're gonna do a little building up for it. I don't know what the situation is, but regardless, man, I think Cody Crowley will be the one that'll be announced. I think Cody Crowley gonna, you know, step up. I think he gonna find his nuts and then take on the bouts in this fight. You feel what I mean? Because he been ducking that boy for a little while now. No, that's a reference to Jared Anderson with that clip of him crying. He fights tomorrow. Oh, wow. Oh, shit. Yeah, that definitely went over my head. No lie, I'm going to watch UFC 300 over Mr. I'm only 23 tomorrow. Oh, yeah. I remember he was crying in front of Roy Jones and shit like that. I'm only 23. It's a lot of pressure. Yeah. Yeah, I met Jared Anderson, though. He's a cool dude. I think that Jared Anderson just, I don't know, he just don't fuck with boxing like that. You know, as boxing fans, we don't really want to hear a fighter say that they're not intrigued with boxing or they only doing it for money, because it turns us off as boxing fans. But the harsh reality is there's a lot of fighters that only do it for the paycheck or only do it because they're good at it. I can name several, and one of them was one of my favorite fighters, and that was Mikey Garcia. Mikey Garcia made it clear that he never really loved boxing like that. You know what I mean? He was just good at it, you know, and it set up his family for life. Set him up for life. You know, he's happily retired. Don't look like he's going to come back to the sport anytime soon. Marcos Maidana was another one. You know what I'm saying? I heard Marcos Maidana never really loved boxing or anything like that, but it just happened to be something that he was good at, so he continued doing it so he can make a living. You see what I mean? So that's the harsh reality. And I think that because Big Baby is so transparent, he turns off a lot of fans with the things that he says and shit like that. You know what I mean? But, you know, hopefully Jared Anderson could, you know, find that love for boxing again. Because if you're good at something and you genuinely love it, I feel like that gives you more of an advantage than somebody who just good at it or only doing it because they're good at it. You see what I'm saying? Shout out to Southpaw's old and crusty beanie. He said, "You." Yo, these people on here fucking hilarious, bro. The trolls being full effect on here. And he has a wrench, but I'm sure he's not going to want to say exactly who he is. I'm going to let y'all do the guessing. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Karma in the building. What's going on? Yeah, the Jared Anderson John went over my head a little bit. I completely forgot about that situation. Mastermind is in the building. He says Matias will never lose. Okay. I just don't like his word choice, man. I just don't like his word choice. I'm trying to figure out what else did he say about Devin Haney, bro? What else did he say about Devin Haney? He said something else, and I was like, and I just remember being confused about it. But regardless, yeah, man, I wasn't really feeling the word choice. You know, it sound like duck language, if you ask me. You see what I mean? Damn, where the hell is it at? Liam Parro, a tough fight, not gonna lie. But Subriel should get him on the 10th. Yo, and I seen an interview from Liam Parro, bro, and he said that the only thing that Subriel is better than him at is losing. I was like, wow, this dude got a little mouthpiece on him. He seemed pretty confident too. You know what I mean? He confident in his preparation. He got his shit all planned out. He said that, you know, he's going to be doing the last part of his training camp in Miami, you know what I mean, to get adjusted to the heat and the time zone. And he's going to go over to Puerto Rico. So he locked in. He motivated. He's looking to pull out an upset in Puerto Rico, man. So I hope that Subriel, and he believes that Subriel is underestimating him as well, because he feels like he's talking about that Subriel is talking about everybody but him. So that definitely got a fire lit under him, man. So, Subriel better be ready. You know what I mean? He better not sleep on him like he did against that dude who gave him his first loss and shit like that, man. Hopefully he learned from that situation and to take everybody serious. You see what I mean? Because if you underprepared and you in there with somebody hungry who's overprepared, you might have yourself a long night or it might come out with your second L. So I hope that's not something that, Subriel goes through. I'm rooting for him to defeat Leon Parro, but I ain't gonna lie, dog. Homie sound hungry. He sound like he really up for the moment. And he said that he's looking to leave with some Puerto Rican fans, man. So, he sound pretty confident. It's almost giving me like how Kambosos was so confident against Teofimo Lopez. Do y'all remember that? How confident Kambosos was, and it was to the point where we started to really like feel like Kambosos could really be a problem in the fight, and then he just ended up upsetting Teofimo. It was crazy like that, bro. Like he sounded like how the way Kambosos had approached it. It seemed like he felt like he was the A side. You see what I mean? Like he sounded like he was the proven one. And Leon Parro is taking like a real similar approach. So hopefully Subriel, don't fumble his bag because after he beats Leon Parro, he could really touch some crazy money, especially at the 140-pound division, man. That's one of the deepest divisions in boxing. And he could really stumble into a big fight, you know what I mean, if he comes out successful against Leon Parro. So, yeah, that's all I really had to say about Subriel, man. He just talking real funny. I don't like the word choice, man. And hopefully, I also did hear him say that he would take on the opportunity. So that's a good thing to hear. But, he got to really watch his words carefully because it sounds like he's talking more like a businessman than a fighter. You know what I mean? If you got this boogeyman character, you got this boogeyman stigma about you, can't be talking like a businessman while other champions are in front of you. You know what I'm saying? Everything by John says, bro, that Teo fight almost shed a tear. That was a great fight, though. Real talk. Nah, for real, though. That was a great fight. Teofimo showed a lot of dog in that fight. The problem was he just had the wrong mentality. He had the wrong approach. You know what I mean? And I think he underestimated Kambosos severely, like heavily. You know what I mean? Because he came out the first round, guns blazing. You know what I mean? He ain't try to set up his shots. You know what I mean? None of that. He was just looking to just look for that one big knockout shot like he hit Mason Menard with. You know what I mean? He just thought he was going to get him up out of there. And Kambosos just stayed calm. You know what I mean? Was running them into punches, was just, taking them for walks and everything. Dropped them and just bloodied him up, man. Just beat him up bad. You see what I mean? So at the end of the day, I do feel like Teofimo beat himself in that fight. I think that if he would have just stayed focused and actually, followed through with whatever game plan they had, then he would have defeated Kambosos because he even hurt Kambosos at the end of the fight and could have possibly knocked him out. But, he just didn't seem to have like his wits about him, man. He wasn't focused at all. And he paid the price for it. You know what I mean? He paid the price for it. You know what I'm saying? Shay says, I was saying Loma beat him easy, but Kambosos has been going crazy in camp. Well, I'm sure that he understands that if he loses to Lomachenko, that, it might be the end for him in terms of getting world title shots or even big paydays. I mean, he got 2 big paydays with Devin Haney. Let's not get it wrong. And I'm sure he got paid pretty well for the Teofimo Lopez fight as well. So, he probably has a lot more money than the average boxer. You feel me? But, I'm sure that he wouldn't mind getting more paydays. So I think he understands the magnitude of this fight. I don't think he wants to come up short in Australia again. So I'm sure he's putting everything into this camp so he can come out successful against Lomachenko. But at the same time, I think that Lomachenko understands that, and Bob Arum hasn't been admitting that Lomachenko has slipped a little bit. You know what I mean? That he's, on the decline. I think Lomachenko understands that if he loses this fight, then it's a wrap for his career as well. So it's like, in a sense, they're both at a crossroads. This is a crossroads fight for both guys. Kambosos comes up short, he might not get an opportunity again. If Lomachenko comes up short, you know what I mean, he might not be somebody who will get a world title shot again at a 135-pound division. You see what I mean? Kambosos comes out victorious against, Lomachenko, then that could set him up. That'll make him world champion. That could set him up for a unification fight with, guys at the 135-pound division, guys like Shakur Stevenson and shit like that. I think it's a crossroads fight for both guys, which I'm sure that they both understand. I'm sure they know the business by now. You know what I mean? I think they will know the consequences behind losing this fight. So I'm sure they both training their asses off, as they should. You know what I mean? As they should, man. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. I hope that it's a great fight. I think the fight's happening in June, and I'm going to definitely be tuned in and giving you guys my live fight commentary. Also, I'm going to have a few of my guys over here watching the Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney fight. We're going to be watching it, and then we're going to have a live fight party. You know what I'm saying? In this joint, I'm going to have my laptop set up over here. I'm going to have all my guys right here in front of the camera. You know what I'm saying? And we gonna give you guys our live reactions as the fight is going on. So be prepared. You know what I'm saying? This shit definitely going to be lit. You really going to see the personalities come out amongst each other. Our chemistry going to be crazy on this joint, bro. This is going to show a different side of me. You know what I mean? And how we be giving it up, like when we be at the gym and shit. So that shit is definitely gonna be fun as hell. Looking forward to that a lot. You know what I mean? Especially if Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney is an action-packed fight. That shit gonna go crazy, bro. But yeah, for sure. So be on the lookout for that one. He wanted to get back for his pops, and it backfired. Yo, I had heard that, his dad had gotten gripped up by, Kambosos' dad or some shit like that. Something happened where they had gotten physical, and that probably threw off Loma, honestly. You see what I mean? But, yeah, I guess that approach ain't work. You know what I mean? I guess that approach ain't work. You try to act tough with the wrong motherfucker. You know what I mean? You forgot that you was in a boxing ring, and you thought it was a street fight, and you paid the price for it. You see what I mean? But, like I said, I think that Lomachenko, I think Teofimo beat himself that night. I think that he became a victim to his own mind. You know what I mean? To his own ego. You feel what I mean? So I spoke on the Subriel situation. So let's get into Ryan Garcia, man. Ryan Garcia, he punched him. I didn't know that. What's up with Teofimo Sr. getting punched on and his punk ass son not doing nothing about it? I'll tell you what. First of all, niggas know not to swing on my pop, because that'd be a bad joint. Fight gonna be over. Somebody gonna get hurt. Whole place getting flipped upside down. People in Philly already know how we get that shit up. That shit gonna be happening over here. You feel what I mean? But what's up with Teofimo? I heard that, Teofimo Sr. called somebody a nigga in there, and Keyshawn went and put Teofimo Sr. to sleep or knocked his ass out, put him on his ass, whatever the case is. And Teofimo did nothing. He watched his dad get punched in his shit, knocked out, did nothing. Now, Kambosos' daddy punched Teofimo Sr. in his shit, and you try to get back in the ring, and then you got your ass whooped too. So not only did your dad get his ass whooped by Kambosos' dad, but you got your ass whooped by Kambosos. So it was pretty much like a family beatdown. That's what you telling me. So the dad whooped the dad ass, and then the son whooped the son ass. That's a bad joint. That's a real bad joint, bro. Cause wow, Teofimo Sr., that motherfucker might be a punching bag for real, for real. That's a bad joint. That motherfucker be running his mouth and he be getting punched in his shit. He probably the type to get punched in his shit, hold his eye. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy, bro. Never. First of all, anybody punch my dad outside of the ring, whatever the situation is, fight over. I don't give a fuck about money. None of that. Niggas getting hurt. And that shit done happened before. You know what I mean? I almost lost my freedom as a result of it a few years back. Trust me, I know myself. I know what I'd have did. Teofimo Lopez is a clown. A clown. And I remember him talking about that he was from the streets and shit like that. Like, T.O., you was not from the streets. Motherfuckers from Brooklyn don't even claim you for real. They be talking about you from Florida. Then Florida niggas be talking about you from Vegas. No, you don't got a home. So ain't nobody trying to hear that shit that you talking about. You let your daddy get knocked out in a boxing gym. Oh, freely. You did nothing. That's crazy. That's why they was calling Teofimo Sr. a chihuahua and shit like that. Cambosos and them was like, you a little chihuahua. You a little chihuahua. He was mad as hell. Bro, that's crazy. Teofimo was like, I could step anywhere I want. This is a free country. Then got his shit punched on. That's crazy. You remember T.O. was saying that shit? This is a free country. I can do whatever the fuck. Yo, when people talk like that, bro, that's how you know they real quick to call the cops. When they start talking about their rights and shit, yeah, they call the cops on you. Mm-hmm. How many street niggas y'all know be like, oh, I know, this is a free country. Yeah, I can say I can walk wherever I want. This is a free man. When niggas start talking about this country being free and they right, bro, listen, they calling the authorities 911. Quick. Man, I ought to slam Keyshawn right on his head, bro. He would have to pay for that. Why has T.O. been ducking Haney since 135 pounds? That's a great question. I think you know exactly why. Look at the styles that Teofimo struggles with. You tell me. Southwest Dice, you a pretty intelligent dude. I've been seeing you in the comments for a little while now. You tell me why T.O. ducked somebody like Haney. Who's the last two opponents that he struggled with? I'll tell you. Jermaine Ortiz, Sandor Martin, right? Besides Cambosos, because obviously he lost to him. But what did both of those dudes have in common? Well, what do them three dudes have in common? They move. They could box. You know what I mean? And Devin Haney brings that, but as at a much higher level than both of them dudes. I think Devin Haney is a better boxer than Jermaine Ortiz. I think that Devin Haney is a better boxer than Sandor Martin. Better than Sandor Martin because he has more variety in terms of offense. You see what I mean? Sandor Martin don't really got much to him but a jab and a check hook from what I've seen in that fight. You know what I mean? But it was pretty much all he needed because I thought, he did enough to pull out the victory. You see what I mean? Jermaine Ortiz, I think that Devin Haney, my fault. I think that Devin Haney is faster than him. I think that he's more experienced at a higher level. And I think he got a better jab. And I think the jab and the movement alone will really frustrate Teofimo Lopez. And the motherfucker, he might get frustrated to the point he might quit against Devin Haney. You see what I mean? So that's exactly why he ducked Devin Haney. And that's why they asked for $20 million. Teofimo daddy was like, give us the $20 million that you offered Gervonta Davis. Why would we do that? Why the fuck would they do that when you're not a star like Gervonta Davis? That makes zero business sense. That just lets you know that they don't want to take on that fight with Devin Haney unless it comes with a stupid bag. Something that they could fall back on in case they lose, and their career go downhill. They could fall back on that 20 mil. You see what I mean? But it's absolutely ridiculous. Like, come on, man. Why don't you give us a 20 million? When have you ever made half of that? What did you make for Lomachenko? Let's look that up. The biggest fight of your career was definitely Vasyl Lomachenko, right? Teofimo Lopez, Lomachenko, fight purse. Let's look that up. The takeover earned a $1.5 million check. That was in 2020. You know, and according to online sources, he has a guaranteed purse of $1 million per fight, according to his contract with ESPN. Wow. And you're asking for 20 times that amount. Literally. Okay. Sandor really whooped Teo with a check hook and a jab. Yeah, dropped him twice. The second one, they didn't count, but that first one was legit. Was Teo hurt? Nah, but he was just running into shit. You see what I mean? So, you know, he got put a boxing lesson was put on him by Jermaine Ortiz and Sandor Martin. And Devin Haney is levels above both of them dudes, in my opinion. So what the fuck do you think, based off of that style matchup, why Teofimo wouldn't fight the dude? Come on, man. It's pretty simple to me. Can't forget Teo had a sleepover with Oscar and they had a terrible performance against Ortiz. You messy for that one. Yeah, you messy for that one. That's hilarious. He definitely had a backpack that was walking inside De La Hoya crib. That shit was kind of weird. You know what I mean? Yeah, they was Teofimo had a toaster strudel in the morning with extra icing. Extra icing. You know what I'm saying? Oscar made sure that shit came right out the oven. Uh-huh. Extra icing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Teofimo and Oscar was wilding the night before the fight. Teo sniffed a 60-piece at De La Hoya house. That bing bing. Yo, that shit is hilarious. But yeah, man, Teofimo out here wilding. The fact that you feel comfortable enough to sleep in the same vicinity as Oscar De La Hoya is nuts to me. You will never catch my eyes closed. Nowhere near De La Hoya. Fuck that. Teo be capping in the media like he wants the Haney smoke. I mean, of course he does, bro. He don't want to come across as a coward or, you know, come across like he's ducking. So what he's going to do is he's going to run his mouth to give you the impression that he wants to fight. Meanwhile, he's going to fight guys that are low level or nowhere near the level of Devin Haney. And, you know, move on from there. You see that after Teo had that fight against Jermaine Ortiz, he's been extremely quiet. You know what I mean? Now they talking about Steve Claggett, and now Teofimo talking about he don't got no opponent or nothing. He just staying sharp. All right, dude. Whatever. Then you went and told Shakur. Then you gonna go tell Shakur that you only fight him if you know he goes to Honduras. And it's like, bro, what's your obsession with fighting in Honduras, bro? You're not a draw like that. You're not like Muhammad Ali, where one fight you could fight in fucking LA, then you go fight in Africa, then you go fight, bro. You're not like that, bro. You're not on that level. You know what I mean? You're nowhere near. You don't have that type of popularity, my brother. You gotta let that shit go. You feel what I mean? So. You know damn well Top Rank ain't about to lose no money taking Teofimo ass to Honduras. I don't even know if Honduras give a fuck about boxing. I did a little research, and I think there was only like 6 pro fighters that have ever come out of Honduras. Literally 6, according to Wikipedia. You see what I mean? Like Honduran-born fighters that actually came out to be pro boxers. Bro, there's no market over there for pro boxing. There's no way. They probably don't. I don't even know if they have a fucking like a commission over there. Do they even sanction boxing in Honduras? I don't even know. I've never heard of anybody going to Honduras for a fight. Never. You know what I'm saying? So he just talking crazy, bro. He don't know what the fuck he talking about. And his next fight probably gonna be in Vegas or New York, where they gonna keep his ass at. Because he not gonna sell nowhere else. Teofimo want to come across like he this big ass star, and then when Top Rank starts showing love to other fighters, he's like, man, they can keep the black fighters, man. They can keep the black fighters. You know, they want to keep promoting black fighters, bro. Top Rank has gotten sued for not knowing how to promote black fighters. The problem is you're Honduran, right? This is the problem. This is what Teofimo stupid ass don't understand, right? Top Rank is really good at promoting Europeans like Lomachenko, Puerto Ricans like Xander Zayas, Mexicans like Emmanuel Navarrete, they're really good at promoting these guys, right? The problem is Teofimo Lopez is neither one of them. And the reason why they're good at promoting them is because Puerto Ricans back Puerto Ricans, you know, Mexicans back Mexicans, them European dudes back them European dudes. They have countries behind them, right? So Top Rank has had a lot of success with that formula, right? Even Argentinian fighters, they back each other, right? Their country backs them. But Teofimo Lopez is neither one of them. He's not Puerto Rican. He's not Mexican. He's not Argentinian. He's not European, right? So Honduras doesn't back him like that because boxing is not a big sport in Honduras. So how do they treat Teofimo Lopez? Like a black fighter because he doesn't fit in either one of those categories, right? So you're talking shit about the black fighters and how, they could keep the black fighters and shit like that. Bro, you're being managed and promoted just like a black fighter. You fucking idiot. So you're talking about how a black fighter is getting all this type of, privilege over at Top Rank, bro. They're moving you the same exact way. You dummy. Like he's an idiot, bro. Like Teofimo is really an idiot. And it's sad that he don't got people around him that's checking him because his dad be on that ping and shit, is sipping on that liquor. You know what I'm saying? Devin Haney, Bill Haney was looking for, Teofimo at a liquor store. You know what I'm saying? Because they said that's where he frequent a lot. That's where he known to be at and shit like that. You see what I mean? So it's sad that he don't got the people around him to really keep him in check. That boy going cuckoo somewhere right now. You know what I'm saying? Ali fought in the Philippines. That's a fact. These niggas don't be stars like that where they could, fight all over the world and sell out and shit. Bro, they're not icons like that. Beyond the Ring with Nonito and Rachel. Shout out to the donaires in the building. What's going on? Man, I'm gonna tell y'all, bro, it's crazy. Like, it's crazy seeing Nonito. And I actually had a conversation with him on Claymore Range channel. I watched when I was a kid, bro. I'm young, 26 years old, but I remember clear as day, like watching Nonito come up on HBO. You know what I mean? And I had heard about stories because I know Rasheem Jefferson. He always told me about fighting Nonito in the amateurs and shit like that, and how like dangerous of a fighter he was. And watching him come up on HBO, you know what I'm saying? It's crazy to watch his whole career unfold in front of my very eyes, and then to be able to talk to him on YouTube is crazy. Shout out to Nonito and Rachel Donaire. So I haven't caught you on live, so I wanted to hit you up. Yeah, I appreciate that. I appreciate you coming on and supporting the channel. Leaving, showing some love. He said that Fernando Montiel KO in 2011 was crazy. Yo, listen. Nonito got a slept on highlight reel, bro. Slept on highlight reel. You see what I mean? I always go back to the Darchinian fight. Always go back to that fight. I was actually watching that John a couple days ago. You know what I mean? So it's dope to see him on YouTube chopping it up with the people. You know what I mean? I also seen him in Philly working out with Bozy and them. So that was dope to see as well. You see what I mean? So it's cool, man. It was cool. Definitely cool. Yeah, that knockout against Darchinian, I'll always go back to. Always. So shout out to the donaires for showing love. Do you think the Midwest produced the best boxers? If not, which region? If we're talking about like active fighters right now, let's look at some of the top guys. So Gervonta Davis, East Coast. Shakur Stevenson, East Coast. Let's look at this pound for pound list. Let's look at the pound for pound list. Let's look at this pound for pound list. Who has the best fighters right now? Let's see. Let's look at my pound for pound list that I had made a while back. Terence Crawford, he's from Omaha. So is that the Midwest? Jamal Charlo is the South. Shakur Stevenson, East Coast. Earl Spence, South. Devin Haney, West Coast. Teofimo is East Coast. Javante is East Coast. I don't know. East Coast might be edging it out, but it seems like the pound for pound list that's currently in front of me, they pretty spread out. You know what I'm saying? Terence Crawford, I think Australia definitely got some fighters. Cam Boses, Liam Parro. I think Liam Parro is from Australia. They got the dude that just fought Oscar Valdez. But Australia be having some tough outings. Jamel's still in the pound for pound list. Oh yeah, I gotta update that shit because I had made this before he fought Canelo. Yeah, I definitely gotta update it. But nah, he's from down south, so you know Jamel might very well still be that dude at 54, but you know his stock is so shitty right now. You know what I'm saying? Some people consider Maryland the South. How? That shit right next to Delaware. No. Maryland is the East Coast, right? Am I tripping? Who the hell consider Maryland the South? No, that's definitely the East Coast. There's no way. How is that the South? South is like Georgia and Virginia and shit like that, right? Yeah. I knew I wasn't tripping. Bro, because as far as I'm concerned, it's PA. It's like PA, Jersey right here, Delaware right here, and then by Delaware is Maryland. Virginia's below Maryland, though. What the fuck, bro? Hold on, bro. Ain't no way. Nah. He said, "Don't ask me about no geography." Nah, bro. I'm trying to find out. Yes, look, according to newworldencyclopedia.org, yes, Maryland is on the east coast of the United States. Come on, man. Stop it. You can ask your sixth grader. I think we came to the conclusion, man. I appreciated that. That was a simple Google search. You know what I mean? But Maryland is definitely East Coast. Definitely East Coast. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. But regardless, I don't know. I think it's pretty spread out right now. You know, the Midwest, who they got like Tony Harrison, Alicia Baumgartner, Clarissa Shields. I don't know. I don't know. Ohio got Jared Anderson, Robert Easter, Adrian Broner. Oh man, I don't know. That's a tough one. That's a real tough one. I think it's pretty split down the middle because I could make a case for West Coast fighters too. I think more of a discussion will be who got the better fighters now, Europe or the United States. I think that'd be an even better question. What y'all think? Who you think got the better fighters? The Europe, like right now, currently in this climate of boxing, who got the better fighters? The Europe, you know, the UK, all that shit, or the United States? Yeah, I'm from Philly. Donaire. Yeah, I'm from Philly, man. I'll be around. We definitely, yeah, we definitely putting on. I was just at Bosey's the other day. Had my guy over there working with a few of the pros, man. It was quality work, man. Great work over there. You know what I'm saying? So, I got my own gym too. I got Pivot Boxing Academy. So if you ever around Philadelphia, you want to stop by, feel free, my brother. You're always welcome to come over here, man. We fans of Nonito Donaire over here for sure. You know what I'm saying? But USA has a lot of the middle divisions. I can't lie. Europe has the bigger weight classes. Yeah, they definitely got. I feel like they got the heavyweight scene on smash right now, man. Which is why I was really pulling for Jared Anderson to like really, show out at the heavyweight division because I think he has the potential to be world champion, to actually be the best. But because like it seems like his heart's not all the way in it. Wait, you talking about Dylan Price? Because Dylan Price been coming to our gym for sparring. He's been working with one of our smaller guys, Alejandro Jimenez. He had came to our gym, I believe, a week and a half ago, and he was supposed to come back this week, but I think they pushed it back to this week coming up. But I think Dylan Price trains out in New Jersey right now. Yeah, Anonymous. This is a fact. He said, I feel like all the bigger athletes in America are playing other sports like football and basketball. Yeah, it's because boxing is not the big sport that it used to be in the United States. We go to the UK and stuff like that. There's not many sports that are ahead of boxing. From what I understand from the people I talk to in the UK, it's like soccer, then boxing. Meanwhile in the United States, it's like baseball, football, basketball. You know what I'm saying? And then you might touch boxing later down in that joint. So, it seems like that's where people, are gravitating towards more. And when they dedicate themselves to the sport, I feel like boxing is the last resort. A lot of these boxers, they came into the sport late because they were into other sports. You feel what I mean? Like from what I heard, Regis Prograis started boxing late. He was a football player. Deontay Wilder was a basketball player. I think Frank Martin came into boxing late, but I forget. I don't know if he played another sport. Sean Porter was a football player. They said Bud was a wrestler. That's big in Omaha though. Wrestling is really big in Omaha. Yeah, it seems like they come to box. Gerald Washington, I believe, who's currently a heavyweight. I don't know if he's retired or not, but he came into boxing late and he was in an entirely different sport. The UFC going crazy. They had 100K viewers for the weigh-ins. They fan base is crazy, bro. And you really gotta thank Dana White for that because he listens to the fans. You know what I mean? He gives you the best fights as consistently as possible. I really wish that boxing had that type of structure where it was like a man who really dictated everything that went on. You know what I mean? That had like the best interest of the fans, like just constantly giving us the best fights. You know what I mean? Giving us stacked cards back to back. If we had like the same system that the UFC had, bro, boxing would be one of the top sports in the entire country, hands down. Because I feel like nothing gets like the world's attention more than like a good fucking boxing match, bro. You see what I'm saying? So, I feel like sometimes the world stopped when we get like these big fights. Like when Pacquiao and Mayweather fought, bro, it's like the world stopped at one point in time, bro. When Gervonta Davis and Ryan Garcia fought, it was like you couldn't walk down the block without seeing somebody TV playing the Ryan the Tank fight. Like, there's nothing bigger than like a great fucking fight in boxing, bro. You see what I mean? For real. Yeah, it's because they had one big promotion company. That's what I'm saying. I wish that boxing just all come into one company and just rock out like that. But there's too many hands in the pot, man. It just seemed like it sounds too much. It sounds too unrealistic at this point. Yeah, Bud versus Spence was a massive fight too. That's a fact. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. No way we gonna have all the promoters and all sanctioning bodies consolidate into one for one purpose. Yeah, that's a fact. There's too many hands in the jar, man. It just is what it is. It's a totally different setup than the UFC, unfortunately. But what can happen is a big company could be built around boxing. You know what I'm saying? And they could take all the fighters slowly but surely. But I don't know. You're gonna have to have a lot of money in order to do that. I think when Al Heyman was trying to do that, though, they sued him for trying to have a monopoly. They just, I think Top Rank and Golden Boy came together to sue Al, talking about, yo, bro, like you trying to run a monopoly. So there's gonna be a lot of resistance in that too. Silk said, pull a PBC on Golden Boy. It said Tank versus Devin is a bigger fight. It's definitely one of the bigger fights to make, but for some reason they're not coming together to really make it right now. You know what I mean? They keep talking about the weight classes and rehydration problems and shit like that. So I don't know. It might be a hold on that. In the meantime, since the weight is such an issue, we should see Tank versus Shakur. You know what I mean? Tank about to fight Frank Martin. Shakur about to fight Howard Tunyan or whatever his name is. So let's see both of these guys, get rid of their opponents and then face each other at the end of the year. Why not? Said it's crazy. Al doesn't even do much publicity, but he's the most hated promoter among them all. Yeah, this man has never done an interview. I don't even know what the fuck his voice sound like. You see what I mean? I know fighters that have been signed with Al Heyman that said they've never had a conversation with him. You see what I mean? But somehow he receives a lot of hate. And I know exactly why he receives a lot of hate, but that's a totally different discussion. You know what I'm saying? But we all know why. We all know why they hate Al. You know what I'm saying? I think if he had the complexion for the protection, he moved like that, they'd be bigging him up to be like some boxing god or something like that. You know what I'm saying? You going to Dev Garcia? I want to because it's in Brooklyn, so it's not that far of a drive. But most likely, I'm probably just going to kick it at the crib, just have like a little fight party over here and shit like that. You know what I mean? But, nah. I want to, though. I would love to go to Brooklyn to watch it. I think that'd be a great experience, but I don't think I'll be able to do that. Shakur better than Devin if we talking skills. I think Shakur is more well-rounded than Devin Haney. I think that he has better defense than Devin Haney. I think that Devin makes a lot of mistakes, honestly. Like, he drops his hands and shit like that. He don't bring his hands back after certain shots. And I think that Shakur is a better inside fighter. You said Eddie Hearn might take over in 2 to 3 years. Well, I'll tell you what. He's a lot further ahead than what I projected him to do. Because when he first came to the States, he was talking crazy to all these different promoters. And I'm like, bro, what the fuck? Like, he don't understand the market over here. He thinks that this market is just like he think that this market is like the UK. You see what I'm saying? So he think that he just come over here and talk shit and get shit done. But, slowly but surely, Eddie Hearn had his little, bumps in the road and shit like that. But he's been having some huge signings lately, man. Partnered up with Canelo, partnered up with Haney, signed Edgar Berlanga, signed Subriel Matias, and now he got Jerron Ennis, Richardson Hitchens. He has some great signings. I mean, of course, you could say Anthony Joshua and shit like that, but that's pretty much who he came into the game with. You see what I mean? So, yeah, a solid stable in that female fighters. He got one of the biggest in the game. Well, a couple of the biggest in the game. He got Katie Taylor and Alicia Bumgarner. So, Eddie Hearn been making some good moves, man. Yeah, Bam Rodriguez. That's another one. Very, very slept on fighter. One of my favorites. I love Bam Rodriguez, bro. Love his style. You said Joshua to face a Matro. Well, I'll tell you what. Without Joshua, I don't know if Eddie Hearn would have gotten this far. Uh, I think that without Joshua, Eddie Hearn wouldn't have gotten this far. I think that Anthony Joshua was the key for Eddie Hearn being able to get that DAZN deal. You know, I think that Anthony Joshua is the reason why he was able to transition over to the U.S. and, you know, ultimately, you know, get his name all bigged up to get these other fighters to sign with him. They see how successful Anthony Joshua was, and fighters gravitated towards it. They took more of a liking to Eddie Hearn, and he was able to capitalize off of that. I think Eddie Hearn has Bivol as well. I think he does. Does he? I think he does. Hmm. Says, I don't know. I don't know. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what I was just reading right here. Kornilov is Bivol's first position promoter. And yeah, Bam is with Tekken. He was with Tekken first, yeah. Alicia Bumgarner's first position promoter is Marshall Kaufman, from what I understand too, because I've done a lot of business with Marshall Kaufman. I think she's with King's Promotions and, you know, co-promoter with Eddie Hearn. You know what I'm saying? You said Devin doesn't have better footwork than Shakur, and he's not faster than Shakur. Shakur is pretty fucking fast, bro. So you might be. No, Marshall lost her. Oh wow. Oh okay. I didn't know that. I knew that back. Cause I haven't done a fight. I haven't done a fight with King's Promotions in a while. I haven't been to a King's Promotions card in a long time. But back when I was working with him, he had Alicia. So yeah, you said a couple months ago. That makes sense. Thank you for keeping me informed with that. You know what I mean? But let's talk about Ryan Garcia before I get up out of here, man. Hold on. Shout out to Ruben Bolanos with the Cash App. He says Eddie Hearn signed Mark Castro from Fresno, California, my city. Okay, shout out to Fresno, California for showing love to Mazuma TV, man. Mark Castro. I've been hearing his name. I mean, I've been hearing his name. You know what I mean? But you know, I feel like he got to show me a little bit more before I name him as like a, you know, a big fighter in Eddie Hearn stable. You know what I'm saying? But let's talk about Ryan Garcia, man, because you know he came out with a little crazy statement today. You know what I mean? I'm gonna put this up for y'all to see. Let me see if I can actually share my screen. Let me share my screen with y'all so y'all can see instead of me just showing you my phone screen. Show y'all this real quick. But Ryan Garcia, man, you know, he should be focused on Devin Haney right now. Cause you know, it's literally like what, a week? A week until he fights Devin Haney, but it seems like he got his eyes set on somebody else, and it happens to be the pound for pound number one fighter on the planet right now, in my opinion. You see what I mean? Let's check this out right here. Let me share this screen. Yo, Ryan Garcia just make me laugh sometimes, man. Ryan Garcia just make me laugh sometimes, bro. He's a funny dude. I think he's so crazy that he's funny. You know what I mean? But look at this tweet right here from Ryan Garcia. He says, I respect Crawford and what he has reached, but I want to kick his ass just cuz. Let's fucking go, bitch. This is what Ryan Garcia calls Terence Crawford. Now, I highly doubt that he's really calling Terence Crawford a bitch because, you know, that's something that he might have to, you know, that's something that he's going to have to say to Terence Crawford's face, and I don't think that'll really go well if he were to do so. But for some reason, this was fucking hilarious. I don't know what's so funny about this, but the fact that he's just going out of his way to randomly call Terence Crawford a bitch is crazy. But Terence Crawford didn't really pay it any mind. You know what I mean? Terence Crawford just wrote on Twitter and said, Crawford error. So that was his response to the whole situation. That was about 4 hours ago that he wrote that. But yeah, that was actually pretty funny. You know what I'm saying? I thought that was pretty funny. Ain't nothing really much to it, nothing really much to explain. But, you know, it's just Ryan Garcia, clout chasing at his finest. You know what I mean? Now, is that going to really help him in the fight? Absolutely not. But, you know, it's good for promotional for like promotional things. You feel what I mean? And you know, he's also been talking about dating Kylie Jenner and, you know, all this other irrelevant shit, bro. It just seems like he's trying to do the most to get like some type of viral moment, but it doesn't really seem like it's working. Did you guys also peep that, you know, he posted that little small sparring footage of him and Devin Haney just to go and delete it shortly afterwards? I thought that was pretty funny as well. I think he realized that he didn't do shit in that sparring session. He didn't land a single shot. So he decided to take it down because it really didn't make any sense to put it out. You know, because he started off leaking a Gervonta Davis sparring footage that had nothing to do with him. Didn't make him look good at all. If anything, it just made Gervonta Davis stock go up a little bit. You see what I mean? So, you know, he promoted Gervonta Davis freely in that situation. Now he puts out another edited sparring footage of him and Devin Haney, and he doesn't land a single punch. He threw about 6 punches. Neither one of them landed. You know what I mean? And, you know, it was a quick 18 to 19-second clip. And that's pretty much all that came about it. You know what I mean? So I guess that didn't work. So he's back on the socials calling Terence Crawford a bitch. So let's see what happens with that because, you know, he might have to own up to it the next time he runs into Terence Crawford, which might be soon. Terence Crawford might just pop up at the Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia fight. I mean, he might just pop up at the weigh-in, so let's see what happens. Well, that's pretty much all I had to say about that situation. I thought that was pretty funny. You know what I mean? You said Crawford will pack him up easy. I think that's pretty safe to guess. You know what I mean? I don't think that'll be a close fight at all. And I don't even think Terence Crawford would entertain it, honestly. He didn't entertain it. He didn't even mention him in any of the tweets. Ryan did spit one fact yesterday about men paying their nails is not cool. No comment. No comment. You know what I mean? It's just crazy what people do for clout, man. I know we talking boxing, but you looking forward to any fights on the UFC 300 card? I want to see Pereira and Hill. You know what I mean? I'm not too well versed on the card and exactly what's going on, but I do know the main event. I believe that's the main event, and I'm looking forward to seeing that. I've seen they both made the weight at 205, so let's see how that goes. I really like Pereira, man. I think he a dog for real. You know, he got some flaws defensively and shit like that, but for the most part, I rock with him. I think he a dog for real. And I like the fact that he beat the dog shit out of Adesanya because I don't like Adesanya. I think he a coon for real. What does that mean, Sam? What do you mean the devil will tell the truth sometimes? You referring to Ryan. Well, Ryan Garcia has been going out of his way to call Devin the devil. And I don't really understand what the meaning is behind that. I do think that has some type of reference to Devin Haney's religion. In all honesty, maybe that's me just reaching. I'm not sure. But Ryan Garcia, from what Devin Haney has said some crazy things about his religion behind the scenes. Ryan Garcia has denied that. Then he comes back out and says that he became Muslim for clout, which is pretty disrespectful in all honesty, and keeps referring to him as this devil. Now I don't know Devin Haney for doing any devilish things. I don't know if this man. I don't even know if that kid has a criminal record. I don't know anything that he's done that was crazy. It seems for the most part that Devin Haney is a pretty focused individual. He stays out of the way. He just seems to focus on boxing, and he likes to, chill. You know what I mean? He's into fashion and shit like that. I don't know why it's really warranted to call Devin Haney a devil. Is it because he doesn't share the same religious values as you? What exactly is the problem? And I also see people, and I'm sure this has a lot of racial undertones as well, but I've seen people say that, Gervonta Davis is actually from the streets and Devin Haney wants to be from the streets. What has Devin Haney ever showed you that he wants to be from the streets? Like when I think of people that actually want to be street and shit like that, I think of dudes like T.I.'s son. Y'all know T.I.'s son? He grew up in a mansion, grew up with a millionaire dad and shit like that, but trying to prove all the time that he's some type of trench baby or something like that, or he come from the hood or some shit. You know what I mean? That's what I think of. Devin Haney don't ever come across to be that type of person. He just looks like somebody that's into the trends in the fashion world. You know what I mean? And just being confident in himself as a boxer. I don't really think of Devin Haney to be this street type individual. I never heard of this man refer to anything street like ever. I never even heard Devin Haney call out anybody for a street fight. So I don't really understand, bro. It just seemed like a lot of people hate on Devin Haney for unnecessary reasons. Now, if Devin Haney was a type of, if you just don't like his style, you think he's boring, and he just don't appeal to you style wise, that's cool because there's plenty of fighters that I respect as being good, but I'm not real big fans of. You know what I'm saying? I'm not the biggest fan of Devin Haney. I just respect how the way he's moving. You see what I mean? I just like the fact that he's taking chances and, he's fighting top competition within his weight class. So that's why I give him a lot of props because a lot of fighters aren't really doing that. You see what I mean? So I think people see me doing that and then take me as me being a fan of Devin Haney. No, I'm just giving him props for what the fuck he should be doing. You see what I mean? But the fact that he has a lot of haters, bro. Devin Haney got to be one of the most hated motherfuckers in the sport of boxing. And it could be a combination of things. It could be, them not liking Bill Haney, so they don't like Devin Haney as a result. And I think there's reasons behind that as well. I think a lot of people didn't grow up with fathers or at least supportive fathers. So they hate him as a result of that or have some type of jealousy towards him. Whatever the situation may be, man, it's crazy. Devin was talking about how Tank got his chain snatched after a Tank interview where he called him soft and his father speaks for him. I mean, is that necessarily street rhetoric though, or did that actually happen? It's not like he said I snatched his chain or anything like that. Maybe that really did happen. Maybe that really did happen. I don't know if you can equate somebody to the street because they mentioned that somebody's chain getting snatched. It seems like that's just a statement to me. It's not like he said, "Oh, I snatch next time I see you, I snatch your chain." Now that's a different situation. You know what I'm saying? Now you're talking about, stealing from somebody. I just think Bill is annoying. I like Haney himself as a boxer, though. Well, this is the thing, bro. Y'all know that Bill Haney's a promoter, right? Y'all know he's like the head of DHP. So as a promoter, ain't you supposed to run your mouth? Don't Don King run his mouth all the fucking time? Don't Eddie Hearn run his mouth all the fucking time? Eddie Hearn be sitting down doing 30 to 1 hour interviews just talking about himself. You know what I mean? Or just talking shit about other people. Don't nobody mind when Eddie Hearn be out here running his mouth and talking all crazy, but when Bill Haney do it, you know what I mean? He's labeled as annoying. I don't think he annoying at all, bro. I think that he just trying to sell his son, you know what I mean, to the boxing fans. You know what I mean? Just trying to make his son more relevant, make him a marketable fighter. And, you know, one of the ways to go about it is just selling controversy. You know what I mean? I don't mind him talking crazy. He's a promoter. You know what I'm saying? When Don King was on stage with them flags and was like, oh, my God, and, you know, spicing up arguments between fighters, that's what he's supposed to do. He's a promoter. He's supposed to promote what's in front of him, what he's getting paid to promote, bring out, show out to the world. Bill Haney is a promoter. He's supposed to do that. So I don't mind him talking crazy. I think that's what he's supposed to do. You know what I mean? Not everybody got that humble approach. That humble shit don't work for everybody. On some real shit, I think a lot of people's humble approach happens to be the main reason why they aren't bigger stars or haven't gotten them big opportunities or aren't talked a lot or aren't talked about a lot amongst boxing fans. I think Gary Antoine Russell is an example of that. I think that he has a very exciting style. He brings a lot of knockouts to the table. I think that he could be one of the very best fighters at 140 pounds, but he's too humble. When he's not fighting, nobody talks about him. And if you want to be a star in the boxing world, you got to have people talking about you nonstop, whether you fighting or not. You see how Gervonta Davis, he hasn't fought in so long, but he's still a relevant topic in the sport of boxing. You got to have that type of appeal amongst the boxing fans that even when you're not fighting, they're still discussing you. And I think that some people just being too humble cost them. You got to have a good balance, man. You got to know when to talk. You got to know when to shut the fuck up. Some people that's too humble. Too humble. Texas 16 South says closed mouths don't get fed. That's a fact. That's a fact in most situations. Yeah, Shakur Stevenson, definitely an emotional dude. Yeah, man, he definitely an emotional dude. He getting his feelings. He's willing to engage with anybody, and that's what really bothers me about Shakur, bro. Like I was telling people, like, yo, you be arguing with people on social media that have 200 followers, and it's like, bro, you're Shakur Stevenson, bro. You're one of the best fighters in the world. Why are you giving your energy to any and everybody whenever they say something you don't like? It's okay to ignore motherfuckers. It's okay to block motherfuckers. If you that bothered by them, bro, there's no need to respond to them. Just block them. Bro, I'm nowhere near as popular as Shakur Stevenson. I don't even have 2,000 subscribers yet. But there's times where, you know, people leave certain comments and say certain shit about me. I be getting shots thrown at me every fucking day. And I ignore them. I never respond. You see what I'm saying? This is like, I don't know, bro. I don't know. If I could do it with my small platform and I'm able to ignore people and shit like that, then Shakur should be able to do the same thing. He said, when you ever seen Shakur lose focus? I see him lose focus every day on social media. Instead of focusing on himself and what the fuck he got going on at home, he's on his phone typing, trying to validate himself amongst nobodies. That's what I see. He show a loss of focus every fucking day. And when have I ever seen him lose focus? You know he's missed weight before, right, sir? You do know that, right, Shay? Isn't that a loss of focus in itself? Is missing weight a loss of focus? If he's blatantly admitted to not going about things right in training camp, is that not a loss of focus? That's your answer right there. And I'm sure Shakur would admit that himself. But I see this man. I seen how Michael Benson is talking about in the ring. I mean, he's undefeated, bro. He's beating everybody that he's needed to beat. So I guess he hasn't. Instead of trying to lose weight within the time, he playing ping pong with Bud. Yeah, I remember that. That's a fact. He be drinking, looking real fat when he don't got to fight. Who you talking about, Shakur? I never heard about Shakur drinking. He be drinking for real? I usually hear about fighters when they be drinking. I never heard of Shakur drinking. Shout out to Jordan Rules. He said best fights in boxing. Number 1, Bouts versus Crawford. 2, Canelo versus Benavidez. 3, Bivol versus Better Beef. 4, Tank versus Shakur. 5, Tank versus Haney. That's a good list, my brother. My 5, I'm going to go. I'm big on undisputed, man. I'm going to go with Fury and Usyk. Bivol versus Better Beef. Benavidez, Canelo. Terence Crawford versus Bouts. Devin Haney versus Tank. I think that Devin Haney versus Tank is a more popular fight than Tank versus Shakur Stevenson right now. Both are great fights. But I think that Devin Haney's momentum and popularity is a little bit higher than Shakur Stevenson's right now. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I think. I don't know if that was 5 fights right there. I think so. But yeah. I love those fights. So yeah. Y'all got any questions before I get up out of here, man? Y'all got any questions? I've been on here an hour and 42. Let me know if y'all got any questions. We got 30 people in the building, man. Hit the like button, man. Hit the like button if y'all appreciate the content, man. Let me check the likes right now, man. Let me make sure we doing what we need to do in these streets. You know what I'm saying? 28 likes, 30 people. Let's get them additional 2. You know what I'm saying? Let's get them additional 2. Shit, if I got time tomorrow, I might go live for that UFC 300 John. If I ain't doing nothing later tomorrow night, I might do a live fight reaction to UFC 300. But the next boxing event, I'm doing a fight party for Devin Haney versus Ryan Garcia. Book it. That's happening for sure. You know what I'm saying? So I'm really looking forward to that. It says Devin has the most momentum right now. He's the most active out of all of them. Yeah, activity is definitely a part, but I think that Bill Haney does a part as well in just keeping his name out there. You know what I'm saying? Texas said, you see that Nate Diaz versus Masvidal card? No, I didn't. I heard that they were going to fight each other in a boxing ring, But I didn't see nothing about a card. You're going to have to inform me on that. Yeah, I know it's boxing, though. I heard about that. But ever since I heard the news, I haven't really heard nothing else. If Shakur gets hit hard enough, he will go into his shell. Well, I don't think it's necessarily a shell. When he feels somebody's power, he get on that bike. He get on that bike for sure. Lil Vargas fighting Ryan's little bro. Is he really? Hold on. What's yeah, his name is Sean Garcia. Let me check that out. He's 7-0 with a draw. Damn, he got a draw with a 2-1. It's a bad draw. I ain't gonna lie to you. I think one of the lightweights I got in my gym will beat the shit out of Sean Garcia. That's just me though. Well, I know one for sure. I got two of them. I know the one will beat his ass, but the one I got on the come up right now, I think will fuck him up. You ain't got no power. You ain't nothing like your brother, nigga. You ain't got no power, cuz. You got a TKO against a debut. Then you made another motherfucker retire in their stool. So you ain't really knock him out for real. You just made him quit. And you got 7 wins. And then you got a draw against a 2-1. Then that nigga name is Sung Ho Yang. Boy name is Sung Ho Yang. Imagine getting a draw against that motherfucker. That's crazy. Shout out to my boy SP Old and Crusty Beanie with the $2 super chat. Says, how does Corey do at 140? I think he does pretty well. Now, I think it's going to take some time for him to really acclimate to the 140-pound division because, he's still acclimating to the lightweight division. I think in his last fight, he weighed like 133. So that lets you know he makes the weight quite easily. And he's not that big of a dude. He doesn't walk around that heavy. So, we're under the assumption that, he goes up to 140 and he acclimates to the division. I think that he's a problem for any of them dudes. You know what I mean? I think Shakur Stevenson is one of the most skilled fighters in the entire world of boxing. So, skills pay the bills at the end of the day. He's very elusive, understands range well, got good inside game, good accuracy, good combination punches. You know what I mean? So, Shakur Stevenson, he'll give anybody trouble. You know what I mean? I just need to really see, in all honesty, how he does with, like pressure fighters that could punch. I need to see that. You know what I mean? Because, there's a stigma around him that he doesn't do really good or he doesn't know how to really handle, pressure fighters that could punch and stuff like that. Nakatila, you know what I mean? And most recently, Edwin De Los Santos. So I need to see him go up against like a William Cepeda or a rematch with Edwin De Los Santos, in all honesty, so we could put them rumors and that stigma to rest. You know what I mean? So at 140, he could do well. I think he'll defeat a Teofimo Lopez, in all honesty. I think he beats out Isaac Cruz. So that's two of the champions right there. Devin Haney, that could be a competitive fight. You know what I mean? A chess match, in all honesty. But he could come out victorious in that, if he's well prepared. And Subriel Matias, that might be an extremely tough fight for him stylistically, man. But, if he uses his feet like he does against Edwin De Los Santos, then, he might have a good chance as well. But, because he makes 135 so easily, I'm under the impression that he can still make 30. So if he goes to 40, he might be undersized for that division at this point in time. But like I said, hypothetically speaking, if he's truly acclimated to 140, he could be a problem. Bro, listen, I don't understand why you keep coming to this man's aid, bro. Like, we all know he was injured. You know what I mean? He wasn't injured against Nakatila, though. He wasn't injured against Nakatila. He took a similar approach. You know what I'm saying? And I've seen people with similar consequences, with injuries, still dog it out. Andre Ward had a broken hand against Carl Froch. An injured hand. Wait. Who he broke his hand against? I think in the lead up to the Carl Froch fight, I think he broke his hand. He still was throwing that motherfucker and dominated. You see what I mean? So it's really no excuses for that. Some people just deal with adversity different. Some people rise to the occasion and fight with the injury, and there's some people that, prefer to go different routes. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is, bro. I'm not going to sit here and make excuses for the man. He decided to step in the ring with that injury, so he got to deal with the criticism that come with that performance. He could have easily canceled the fight. He chose not to. It is what it is. I've seen people with broken orbital bones still put on great performances. Chris Algieri versus, Ruslan Provodnikov. You know what I mean? That boy had a broken orbital bone. He continued fighting, and he won the fight. This is probably a little cliche one, but Diego Corrales, Jose Luis Castillo, he was hurt, getting knocked down, had adversity on his side, and, he still came out on top. So there's people that deal with things differently than others. There's people that shy away from crunch time and, run away from the smoke, and there's people that go towards it. And at this point in time, it looks like Shakur Stevenson, I'm not going to say he ain't got no dog in him, but we see what, his tendencies are when, his back is against the wall. And that's to really, take the less amount of risk possible. That's all. He's a win first type of fighter. Ain't nothing wrong with that. That's the whole objective of the game. Provodnikov was an absolute monster. Can y'all imagine Ruslan Provodnikov versus Matias, bro? Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Sam Seals, you petty for that. He said he got miniature poodle in him. That's crazy. That's crazy. Listen, for you to be an elite level fighter, you got to have some type of dog in you. You know what I'm saying? So Shakur definitely got dog. But the problem is when adversity hits, it's all good when you don't got no injuries and, when you got a good lead into the fight and shit like that, everybody got that dog in him when everything is going their way. But when shit start to not go your way, how do you, go about it? And we see that, Shakur Stevenson don't really like to take any risk whenever he faces a little adversity. I seen Tate have a hurt hand against Isaac Cruz, and he was boxing and moving and shit like that, but he was actually like showcasing some offense and boxing beautifully. It wasn't a situation like where he was really, whatever you so-called say, running or anything like that. He put on a beautiful display of boxing. I thought that Shakur Stevenson, even with that hurt hand, Gervonta still has some good offense going on. Turning the dude, running him into shots, landed clean, effective punches. With Shakur, it just looked like he was, just trying to keep dude up off him. It's a difference. Yeah, Shakur was talking greasy. Sam, that's a fact. Shakur was talking greasy. It said Shakur was actually running and jumping up on the ropes. That's crazy. Yeah, Tank ain't doing none of that. He was boxing him, turning him. You know what I mean? Never let Isaac establish his offense. None of that. Beautiful display of boxing. Devin 135 was drained against Kambosos, and Loma still. Wait, Devin 135 was drained against Kambosos and Loma. He still made it happen. That's a fact. There's really no excuses, man. There's no excuses. Southwest Dice says rematch. I'll call for the rematch. I called for that shit weeks ago. As soon as I found out Shakur was thinking about fighting Haratunyan and Abdullah and shit like that, I was like, oh my god, man, this is fucking ridiculous, bro. I would rather see Edwin rematch Shakur than that bullshit. Hitchens talk greasy. Lamos was on his ass. Yo, listen, bro, I always go back to that quote David Benavidez said. It says always the fighters that talk gangster that don't fight like they gangster. Like they talk so greasy, but then want to take the all cautious, boxing first approach. You know what I'm saying? Guys like Caleb Plant, that motherfucker Caleb Plant talk greasy, but don't never do no gangster shit in the ring. He just want to keep it smart. There ain't nothing wrong with it. It's just that way these dudes run their mouth, you think that they be ready to crash out in the ring. Nah, they just be trying to jab and move. You see what I mean? Hitchens talk greasy as hell about Lamos and, talking crazy about the champions and shit like that, calling guys out, and then you put on that performance. Shakur Stevenson talk greasy on the best boxer on the planet, man. Remember that. And then, put on that shitty-ass performance. Then get mad at the fans for calling him out about that bullshit-ass performance. Then looks for, his ego so big and inflated that he looks for ways to, try to give himself credit for that performance. No, bro, you look like shit. You deserve all the negative criticism you're getting, especially with all that shit you was talking. You see what I mean? So it is what it is. Shay says, I think Edwin beats Cruz. That's a good-ass fight, bro. Edwin De Los Santos versus Isaac Cruz. Shit. I would love that. Isaac Cruz is thinking about going back down to 135. You know what I'm saying? He's still trying to get that little tank fight. He really want that tank fight bad, boy. He want that payday. Really want that payday. He wanted to give up that belt to go fight Tank. Anonymous said, I told y'all all the big mouth clowns are getting humble. T.O., Rolly, Shakur, Hitchens, and Ryan is next. Wow. T.O. definitely got humble, though. He been quiet as hell since that Jermaine fight. Said Edwin Kaz are going to be sore. No Diddy from being on his bike. Definitely no Diddy. That was crazy. Yo, I got this funny ass story. So I was leaving work, right? So I work downtown. So I got to go like in this parking garage where it has like an elevator and shit like that. And I was on level H, right? So the dude walks into the elevator with me. He was like, yo, bro, can you hit the D? No Diddy. Bro, I was fucking cracking the fuck up, bro. I don't know why that shit was so fucking funny, bro. He's like, can you hit the D? No Diddy? I was like, what? I said, yo, bro, everybody in Philly is literally saying no Diddy now, bro. That shit is hilarious. He said, bro, I wasn't even about to park on that floor. I ain't going to cap. I said, bro, it is not that fucking serious, bro. Like, the homophobia, bro, that shit is real, bro. He said he dead ass is not about to park on level D because of the letter D. Like, that shit is fucking hilarious, bro. Said, can you hit the D? No Diddy? That shit was fucking hilarious. Jermaine fought Haney style better than Haney does the first 6 rounds. I don't know. I don't know about that. Shakur was humble for a little bit, but his ego started to his pride started to feel attacked, so he started looking for the positives in his performance. He was like, man, even with that injury, man, I still dominated, man. Even with the messed up hand and messed up shoulder, I didn't rehydrate properly. I still made it happen. Oh, man, shut up, man. That's what happens when you got motherfuckers around you that don't keep it real with you, bro. I'm going to tell you something. These boxing trainers, the assistant trainers, whatever the hell you want to call them, they recognize that they can make a lot of money off Shakur Stevenson, right? And the last thing they want to do is get on their bad side because they could possibly fuck with their money. So what they do is, they just tell them shit that they like to hear. They tell them shit that they like to hear so they can continue being on the payroll. And I'm genuinely convinced that there was people around Shakur that was trying to be like, you know, unrealistically like optimistic, bro. There's some situations you can't be too optimistic about. If you look shitty, you look shitty. I had one of my amateurs lose recently in the Golden Gloves, right? And there was people that was coming up to him saying, "Yo, man, you did good." I said, "Bro, what?" I let them say whatever the fuck they wanted to say and shit. I pulled my fighter to the side. I said, "Yo, whoever told you did good, nigga, they lied to you. You look like shit. Got to keep it real with these motherfuckers, man. Got to keep it real with these motherfuckers, bro. I don't know. I would rather get cut than be a yes man, bro. You feel what I mean? So I don't know. I guess some people around Shakur Stevenson team was capping. They telling him, "Oh man, you did all right, man. You did good with what you had." No, you didn't. That's people that fought with less than you had that still had better performances than you. Bro, you know how bad Shakur Stevenson's performance was? You would think that Shakur Stevenson lost how the way they was bashing him. Like if they never spoke about the result, or if I never watched the fight and I just seen all the criticism that they was giving Shakur, oh, you just ran the whole time. You didn't want to fight. You had Edwin chasing you for 12 rounds. Bro, you would think that this nigga lost the fight. That's how much he was getting criticized. He probably would have got criticized less if he lost. Shit, bro. Shit crazy. That's the crazy part. You would have thought that Shakur lost. He said that was the worst 12-0 fight I ever seen. Yo, real shit. Haney stands in front of you and outboxes you, no running. I don't think Haney directly just stands in front of people. That's not true. I think Shakur Stevenson was more to do that. Shakur Stevenson was more of a flat-footed type guy that would just control you with his lead hand. You know, I felt like that performance against Edward De Los Santos was pretty abnormal, honestly. Shakur Stevenson was the one that usually was flat-footed, and he'll just keep you at the under. He understands range real well, so like he will just control you with his lead hand. If you step forward, he'll take a small step back. You know what I mean? Just to get enough out of range so you wouldn't be able to hit him. Then he'll hit you, and that was just what it was. Shakur Stevenson has a more flat-footed approach than Devin Haney. I think that Devin Haney isn't like the best at like slipping punches and shit like that. I think that his feet is his like number one source of defense, honestly, from what I've seen with Devin Haney. I think he got a tendency of like using his reflexes for defensive situations. Regis, he was in his face at Kambosos fight and the Lomastenko, that's crazy. Fight, he was in there. Yeah. With Regis, he definitely had a flat-footed approach, but at the same time, there was such a differentiation in footwork between the two. It was like Regis was falling over his feet and all. Bro, Regis' footwork is terrible, bro. Like the fact that he became a 2-time world champ with that type of feet, bro. Like I got kids in my gym that are like sub-novice that have more sound fundamentals foot-wise than Regis. Like I'm not even exaggerating, bro. Like it's terrible. And Kambosos, he had a significant reach advantage against Kambosos, so he didn't really have to go. He didn't have to move too much. He just had to keep him at the end of his punches. And he had a significant reach advantage against Regis as well. So, Lomastenko's another Lomastenko. That's crazy. I actually read it like that. He has short arms as well. So these are all short guys with short reaches that you're referring to. I would love to see how he would do that against somebody who, has a similar reach to him or has similar boxing ability. I always knew that. I knew stylistically that Devin was just. I knew that Regis was tailor made for Devin, but I didn't think it would be that bad, bro. You know, I think that Devin Haney exposed more about, you know, Devin Haney exposed more about Regis than, you know, than I've seen in previous fights. He was worse than what I thought he was. But all right, y'all. I'm gonna get up out of here, man. I've been on here for 2 hours and some change already, man. I appreciate everybody that's been in the building. You know, I'm not tired or anything like that, but I definitely need to fall back and get some rest. I gotta be up in a few hours. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to everybody else in the building, man, for the great conversation. We got 27 people in the building. If you could hit the like button on the way out, it'll be very much appreciated. He said, Mazuma, where's Slim at? Who's Slim? I don't know who Slim is. You know what I mean? But shout out to Beanie, Shay, Sam Seals. You know what I mean? Texas, Anonymous. Everybody that's in the building, man. He said salute from West Australia by the way of East Oakland. Wow, we got West Australia in the building. That's crazy, man. Shout out to you for coming through and showing love on the channel. We definitely global out this motherfucker, man. For sure, for sure. But I'm gonna get up out of here, man. Y'all have a blessed, beautiful night. Peace.